You don't love your family. You're addicted to them. The way you crave their approval while resenting their neglect isn't love. It's trauma bonding written into your nervous system. That hollow feeling after every visit? That's your soul remembering the contract you signed before birth. These relationships aren't accidents. They're ancient classrooms where the lessons taste like blood. You keep returning because part of you still believes salvation lies in their validation. It doesn't. The soul contract with your family. The contract was signed in a language you've forgotten, but your body remembers. Every flinch when they raise their voice, every automatic apology. These are signatures in the margins. You think you're navigating relationships when really you're reenacting centuries of unfinished business. The roles were cast generations before you. The scapegoat, the golden child, the invisible witness. None of these are identities, they're karmic assignments. Breaking free begins when you see the ink on your hands. Real family isn't about blood, but about resonance. The people who trigger you most violently are often your greatest spiritual teachers, disguised as tormentors. Their cruelty is perfect because it's custom designed to expose your deepest wounds. That's why generic self-help fails. Your healing must be as specific as your damage. What feels like punishment was actually your soul's meticulous curriculum. The test isn't whether you'll endure them, but whether you'll outgrow the need for them. You keep trying to fix what was never yours to repair. Their happiness, their trauma, their choices, these were never your jurisdiction. The contract only stipulated your presence, not your martyrdom. When you stop pouring yourself into their voids, you'll discover an astonishing truth. The voids weren't yours either. All along, you were drowning in reflections of their unmet needs, mistaking their thirst for your own. The way out isn't through them. It's through abandoning the rescue fantasy entirely. This is where most people fail the assignment. They either cut contact violently or surrender completely. But the middle path is more potent. Stay present but stop participating. Watch the drama like an anthropologist studying a fading culture. Your silence will trigger their extinction burst, a final, desperate attempt to pull you back into orbit. When it comes, and it will, you'll finally understand this was never about love. It was about energy. They don't miss you. They miss your electricity and their machinery. The contract dissolves when you stop renewing it. One morning you'll wake up, and their voices in your head will sound like bad radio reception. You'll taste food whooshing, your psyche's emergency protocols still running decades after the danger passed. You mistake these adaptations for identity because they've been with you so long. But peel back the layers, and you'll find someone else entirely. The self that existed before the first wound. Trauma isn't just what happened to you. It's what didn't happen, but should have. The comfort you never received, the protection that never came, the love that arrived with conditions. These absences sculpted you more than any overt abuse ever could. You developed superpowers to compensate. Hypervigilance became your radar, people-pleasing your armor. Now the war is over, but you're still wearing the uniform, wondering why you can't feel the breeze. Your coping mechanisms are museum pieces of past pain. That perfectionism, a monument to never feeling good enough. That sarcasm, a shrine to moments when humor was your only defense. These strategies saved you once, which is why they're so hard to release. But what protected the child is imprisoning the adult. The breakthrough comes when you realize survival skills aren't living skills. You don't need armor where there are no more battles. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. That unexplained tension in your shoulders isn't stress. It's the ghost of old threats living in your muscles. Your digestive issues, your insomnia, your mysterious pains are letters from a past your conscious mind has sealed. Western medicine calls these symptoms. Wisdom traditions call them memories. Healing begins when you stop treating your body like a traitor and start listening to it as the most honest historian you possess. Here's the secret no one tells you. Integration beats eradication. You'll never get over your trauma because it's not an obstacle. It's part of your architecture. The goal isn't to become someone untouched by pain, but someone who no longer confuses pain with identity. Your history remains, but its weight shifts. What once dragged you down becomes ballast, the stabilizing force that lets you sail through storms that would capsize lighter souls. The repeating pattern and the awakening. Patterns are ghosts with unfinished business. That relationship that felt different but ended the same. The job that promised change but delivered familiar frustration. These aren't coincidences. They're echoes of something older. Your soul's way of shouting, "Notice this," through repetition. The universe will keep serving the same lesson in different packaging until you unwrap it properly. You mistake these cycles for life when really they're reruns. The script feels inevitable because you've memorized it, not because it's truth. That sinking feeling when you sense it happening again, that's your authentic self pounding on the glass of your conditioning. Most people tranquilize this awareness with busyness or substances. But the awakening begins when you stop reaching for distractions and start asking, what if this time I choose differently? Breaking patterns feels like betrayal because loyalty to pain is the first lie trauma tells. You'll experience visceral resistance when you try to change, not because you're doing it wrong, but because your nervous system equates familiar with safe. That nausea when you set boundaries, the guilt when you prioritize yourself, these aren't warnings. They're withdrawal symptoms from an addiction to suffering. The more intense the discomfort, the closer you are to breakthrough. Your awakening will annoy people. Those who benefited from your sleepwalking will suddenly develop amnesia about how strong you are. They'll accuse you of changing, as if that isn't the entire point. This pushback isn't about you. It's about their terror of examining their own patterns. When the people around you start squirming at your growth, you'll know you're on the right path. Their discomfort is the cost of your freedom. The most dangerous lie is this is just how life is. What you call reality is just the ceiling of your tolerance. The moment you see a pattern clearly is the moment it begins losing power. Not because it disappears, but because you can no longer unsee its mechanics. This is why awareness feels both exhilarating and terrifying. It makes you responsible. You can't blame fate once you recognize your own hand in the replay. The choice to follow or break the pattern. The cycle breaks when you stop mistaking pain for loyalty. Every time you repeat their behaviors, you're not honoring your lineage. You're betraying your future. That voice saying, "This is just how we are," it's not wisdom. It's the echo of unhealed wounds masquerading as tradition. You weren't born to be a museum for their damage. Somewhere in your DNA is the first ancestor who dared to do it differently. That's who you're really honoring when you choose change. Rebellion sounds dramatic, but looks painfully ordinary. It's the unspoken no at family dinner, the boundary that doesn't require explanation, the morning you wake up and simply stop waiting for apologies that will never come. The patterns won't release you gracefully. Expect guilt, phantom obligations, even financial sabotage. This isn't a sign you're wrong. It's proof the pattern knows you're close to escaping its gravity. Stay the course. You'll grieve the parents they never were before you can accept the parents they actually are. This isn't betrayal. It's the most honest love you'll ever offer them. By refusing to play your assigned role, you force the system to evolve. They may never thank you. Do it anyway. Future generations will trace their freedom back to this moment when you decided. The pain stops here. That's how karma truly works. Not through punishment, but through courageous interruption. The world will reward you for staying small. Relatives will call you changed, like it's an insult. Colleagues will resent your boundaries. Romantic partners will panic when your tolerance for bullshit decreases. These aren't losses. They're precision strikes, collapsing the old infrastructure of your life to make space for what aligns. Yes, it will feel like destruction. That's how rebirth feels. Here's the secret they don't teach. Patterns aren't broken through force, but through fascinated observation. The more clinically you study your own participation, why you tolerate what you tolerate, jump when they snap their fingers, the less power the cycle holds. You're not fighting the pattern anymore. You're decoding it. And what gets decoded can be rewritten. The choice was never between following or breaking. It's between sleepwalking or awakening. The power of inner reconciliation. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself you left behind in battle. That grudge you're nursing, it's not hurting them. It's just keeping you trapped in the past tense of your life. Real power comes when you realize no one who hurt you that deeply deserves this much real estate in your mind. Evict them. The space they leave will be filled by versions of you that went into hiding. You've been waiting for an apology that would rewrite history. Here's the truth no one tells you. Even if it came, it wouldn't heal what's broken. Closure doesn't come from their words. It comes from the moment you stop needing them to admit what you already know. That's when the timeline shifts. You're no longer the victim of their story, but the author of your own. The pen was always in your hand. You were just waiting for permission to write. Making peace with your past isn't spiritual bypassing. It's strategic surrender. You're not excusing their behavior. You're defusing its power over your present. The memories remain, but the emotional charge fades like storm clouds moving through. One day you'll speak their name and notice. No flinch, no flash of heat, just factual recall. That's not indifference. That's freedom wearing the quiet face of acceptance. Your inner child doesn't need revenge. It needs reassurance. The tantrums, the self-sabotage, the desperate grabs for love, all just a 5-year-old in your nervous system screaming, "See me, protect me." The reconciliation begins when you start parenting yourself better than they ever could. Bedtimes without shame, meals without conditions, joy without guilt. This is how the wounded healer archetype is born, not by transcending pain, but by tending to it with relentless tenderness. The final paradox: you'll find wholeness when you stop chasing it. Those missing pieces weren't lost. They were never theirs to give. What you mistook for emptiness was just the echo of their absence, not yours. The love you craved exists, but not where you've been looking. Turn inward. That's where the reunion happens, not with them, but with the parts of yourself you sent away to keep the peace. Welcome them home. The war is over.